Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we are plunging straight into a pretty visceral thought experiment. I want you to picture this. Right now, you are completely alone in the cold, driving rain of the Stone Age. You've been stripped of literally all modern comforts. There's no raincoat, no car parked a few feet away, and definitely no heated room to retreat into. You're standing out there in the exact kind of environment our early human ancestors lived in every single day.
So let's dive right into this. Without a raincoat, without shelter, no fire, what's the very first thing that would actually take you out in this ancient environment? It's super easy to immediately picture, a roaring predator leaping from the bushes, right? But the reality of human survival is way more subtle and honestly a lot more fascinating. It actually starts with just a slow creep of cold. This kicks off a deeply ancient survival protocol in your body. Before you even realize you're in a full-blown emergency, your body shifts to defend its core temperature, subtly compromising your fine motor skills. Your hands just start to stiffen around whatever you're holding. But step three is the real danger zone. Your judgment dulls. Long before you even stop shivering, the cold fundamentally rewires how your brain processes decisions. So the light is fading, and you know you need heat. You start frantically gathering fuel. But you're going to hit a brutal truth real fast. Wet wood absolutely does not want to burn. You might try rubbing sticks together or striking stones, hoping for a spark, but without that super specific practice technique, the kind that takes years to master, usually by watching someone else, you're basically just sweating under your damp clothing. And that just massively accelerates your critical heat loss.
The mental toll of the cold is just insidious. Think about the contrast here. A clear-headed version of you, you'd pick a spot for shelter and just commit to it. But the cold-impaired version, well, you hesitate. You decide to keep moving, hoping to find a better spot. Then you second-guess yourself, reverse course, hesitate again, and boom, you've just burned daylight and precious energy that you literally do not have to spare.
Okay, let's say you miraculously make it through the night. You barely survive by just huddling against a rock face by pure accident. But morning brings a really heavy reality. You wake up with completely locked joints and numb feet. Like, you actually have to look down at your feet to make sure they're moving. And the kicker? You have absolutely no food, zero water carried with you, and no tools aside from your stiff, empty hands. Now you're desperate for fluids. You start scanning the unfamiliar terrain for any instinctive signs of water. Maybe a patch of unusually green vegetation sitting low in a valley. Or, I don't know, a line of bugs moving with a purpose. Or some worn-out animal tracks. But here's the catch. None of these are guarantees. They're just educated guesses. And in the Stone Age, guessing wrong and hiking in the completely wrong direction, that costs you time and physical effort you simply cannot replace. So you're walking on these completely exhausted legs, your coordination is still shot from freezing all night, and you misjudge a step. Your foot slips on some loose rock, and you tear open a nasty gash right along your shin. It hurts, it's bleeding, but you literally have to keep moving. The problem is, this cut just added a ticking biological clock to an already massive list of problems.
Now, a shallow cut obviously is an instant death. But you have to hear this staggering statistic, 82%. Back in 1941, right before antibiotics became widely available, doctors recorded a massive 82% mortality rate for patients once a common wound bacteria made it into their bloodstream. Your cut isn't quite at that advanced stage yet, but without clean water to wash it and nothing but dirty clothes to wrap it in, that 82% is the grim reality waiting for you at the end of the road.
And this brilliantly illustrates the literally impossible choice you are forced to make right now. What do? Do you stop and rest the leg to keep the wound from getting worse, knowing it's going to cost you daylight and your progress toward finding water? Or do you just keep limping on a dirty, throbbing leg because your thirst absolutely will not wait? You're going to choose to walk because dehydration is the much more immediate threat.
By midday, as your physical ailments are piling up, chronic hunger officially joins your list of procedural failures. You try flipping over rocks or eyeing animal trails. But let's be real. The idea of catching fast, hyper-aware animals barehanded without any pre-made snares or perfectly balanced weapons, it's a statistical impossibility. No way.
Let's ground this in some hard data. Anthropologist Kristen Hawkes actually recorded that modern Hadza hunters needed roughly 29 hunter days to secure just one large animal. Think about that. 29 days for highly skilled hunters who do this constantly. You've got no tools and maybe an afternoon? Good luck. And this isn't just an isolated thing. Studies of the Achi people in Paraguay by researchers Hillard Kaplan and Kim Hill showed that even for these incredible hunters, coming home completely empty-handed was just the daily norm. Large game hunting rarely produced a kill on any given hunting day. So failing to catch food isn't you having a personal failing. It's just a structural reality of the ancient world.
But here is the crucial twist to our entire scenario. Coming back empty-handed from a hunt or slicing your leg open, that wasn't an automatic disaster in the Stone Age if you had a group to fall back on. The lone survivor starves, guesses the terrain, and risks untreated cuts. But an individual inside a group, they survive on shared medicine and shared food gathered by the rest of the pack.
The actual cause of death in our little simulation isn't the cold, or the thirst, or even that cut on your shin. It is the complete, sheer absence of accumulated group knowledge. This is the collective survival data built up over countless generations, passed hand to hand from the elders down to the younger folks. It's essentially the ultimate system for making sure a single point of failure doesn't end your life.
Just consider the safety net a tribe provides. Somewhere in that group, someone knows exactly which patch of low ground reliably holds water because they've walked that landscape 100 times. Someone else has hands that are way faster at making fire. Someone knows how to properly bind a wound. And maybe most importantly, someone knows exactly which plants are safe to eat and which ones only look like food. They are distributing that immense physical risk across the entire community. When you look at comparative evidence from studied hunter-gatherer societies, it completely shatters our Hollywood assumptions. Illness and infection, they claim a massive, massive majority of lives. Meanwhile, predation, those dramatic animal attacks we're always imagining, that makes up just a tiny, tiny fraction of deaths. So the big takeaway here is that prehistoric danger wasn't always some roaring predator leaping out of the shadows. Far more often, it was just these quiet, procedural failures. The cold, the thirst, the untreated injury, the chronic hunger. All of them just slowly, methodically grinding you down because you didn't have a community there to support you. And what's absolutely wild to realize is how modern life has quietly dismantled this entire chain of death. A solid shelter immediately stops hypothermia. Taps give us endless clean water. A little course of antibiotics stands between a minor cut and a fatal infection. And your food? It literally just arrives at the grocery store automatically, whether you hunted today or not. We've engineered these terrifying ancient threats down to something so incredibly reliable, we rarely even have to think about them. Ultimately, humanity's greatest survival superpower was never having sharp teeth, thick fur, or massive claws. Like the quote says, "The rain hasn't changed. What changed is who's standing in it with you." Your absolute greatest asset was, and always has been, the community standing right beside you in the storm. And since your body is still fundamentally wired for that terrifying, precarious ancient world, literally still ready to constrict your blood flow the second you feel a chill, it leaves us with one final thought. What other ancient survival protocols are you unknowingly running right now, completely silently, from the absolute safety of your engineered modern life? Definitely something to chew on the next time you get caught in the rain.